nature. Hopefully you can see my kitty Walter sleeping beside me. He's too busy sleeping. He doesn't have time for us. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, I am Kaylee, and this is part 2 of Managing Thoughts. So if you haven't checked out part 1, then please go check it out. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't think I ramble too much, but as I was going back and I was editing, there were a few things that I kind of forgot to mention or just want to elaborate a little bit on. I don't have coffee today. I'm still calling it a coffee chat though, because I hope that you're having a delicious coffee or a tea or smoothie or whatever snack. I just had my water today. In the last video, I talked about just recognizing your thoughts. So just, listening to your thoughts and being aware of them, kind of seeing them come and go, and yeah, just observing them, right? Like trying not to be judgmental and kind of like asking yourself, okay, where are these coming from? So are they coming from a place of love and light and helping serve me and be the best version of me? Or are these dark thoughts? Are these kind of negative? Are these bringing me down? Are these not helping me be the best me? And then I think I talked about validating thoughts, the emotion behind it. So if you're having thoughts that are coming from anger or coming from a place of fear or shame or guilt, just recognizing that and naming the emotion and just, validating it, like it's okay. It's gonna happen sometimes, right? We're all human and we're emotional beings. We all have feelings. We all have thoughts that come from these feelings or cause them. And it's important for us to hold space for ourselves and for our emotions, because we all have them all the time. Like, we're all emotional, whether we like it or not. I know it's not necessarily, I don't know, I think a lot of people don't feel safe to be vulnerable and admit that they have feelings and emotions or to name them. You don't necessarily have to share all your thoughts and feelings with everybody else, but doing it with yourself, right? Yeah, it's gonna help you be more self-aware, and it's just giving yourself love at the end of the day. Reminding you that you are not your thoughts. You're just the person watching them. You are separate. Your authentic self, your core, your soul is separate than the little chitter chatter, the voice that goes on in your head every day. Those are based off of your ego, what you've kind of been conditioned throughout your life to think. And I mean, essentially our thoughts come from our beliefs, and our beliefs are shaped from our experiences, right? So, but a lot of our beliefs, just because you believe them or you think them, it doesn't mean that they're true, which can be a little bit confusing. From there, I think one of my tips that I gave too was the talking to yourself, just being your own best friend, talking over your thoughts, right? So go check out that video if you haven't. The next really important thing that I wanted to mention about relating and managing your thinking is to have an outlet, or have many outlets, because a lot of the times we're thinking without even noticing it. That's why it's so important to practice noticing and observing and becoming self-aware of your thoughts. I mean, it's great if you have someone that you feel safe with, like a friend or a family member that you can kind of share your thoughts with, or if you have a therapist or a counselor, cool. But I think it's really, really important that we just develop a relationship with ourselves, where, as I talked about in my last video, being our own best friend and being our own therapist, I guess, or I don't know, that's how I feel sometimes. So having an outlet or a way to express our thoughts and feelings. Often we have all this chitter chatter in our minds all day long, but having an outlet for, to get them out of here and somewhere else. There's many different forms, I guess you could do that. My favorite, journaling. I know, I feel like it's kind of becoming a fad, but it's a good fad, because it's so beneficial, you guys. I'm a psychiatric nurse, and I've told that to countless patients and clients I've worked with. When they're like, oh, I just can't, I have racing thoughts, I can't shut my mind off. It's like, okay, grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil, and just start writing it down. Just write out everything that you're thinking. Or I've heard the term brain dump, and I really like that too. I think sometimes with journaling, people think they have to journal a certain way, or I don't know, have like journal prompts, which I mean, that's great. That's really helpful too to have prompts. It's also really important to just like get it all out and just dump whatever's going on in your brain. And yeah, I do it all the time. I always aim to journal daily, even if it's good stuff, right? Like even if I'm having a really good day and my thoughts like are pretty positive and loving, and just write about that, and it just helps be what I'm thinking. And it's like, wow, like I feel so good and I feel so grateful right now, and it amplifies that good feeling and that positivity. It highlights it, right? To also write about the good stuff. But you know, when it's not good stuff, when you're just really anxious or really stressed and you got a million things on your mind, it's really helpful to just start writing it down. And it sounds so simple. It does. It gets it out of here and onto the piece of paper. And you don't have to keep it. You can throw it away after, or you can write as messy as you want. Nobody's gonna read it if you don't want them to. You don't have to use punctuation or grammar. And like, oh, journaling is the best. For me, it's kind of like go to a counselor or you go to your best friend or whatever, and you just word vomit and you just want to vent and complain. It's like you can do that anywhere, like by yourself all the time on a piece of paper. It's great. So I don't know, that's my favorite outlet. I always feel so much clearer after, and yeah, it just quiets that noise because it gets it out. Outlet. So journaling's a really good one. Or if you're very like artistic, writing song lyrics, making up a song, or do a painting. Exercise, such a good outlet. Not so much an outlet for like the thoughts, but what it does is it distracts you from your thoughts. It grounds you away from your thoughts and into your body. So it's more of an outlet for energy, I guess, getting all the energy that's stuck up in your head, that maybe chaotic energy, and like balancing it through your body, getting it out through your body, through your breath, through sweat, through movement. Talking to someone. Kind of going along with outlets is grounding techniques. So as I was kind of saying about exercise, with other grounding techniques too, it's kind of distracting you away from your head. And I mean, I don't know if you know anything about like the chakras, but it just helps balance your chakras, just helps balance your energy throughout your body, gets you out of here and into your body, into the present moment, back into reality. I don't know if you're ever talking to someone and you're like talking to them and they're looking at you, but you can tell that they're not listening, that they're like busy thinking about stuff. So like they just can't get out of their head and actually be present and grounded and like actively listening to you. Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves. And I'm learning about that and I'm working on that, but I don't know. I'm gonna share just like a few quick grounding techniques that I find super helpful. Breathing or breath work. It's like the simplest thing, especially if you're anxious or stressed. Your heart's beating really fast, right? And I think, I can't remember exactly, but with every deep breath that you take, you slow down your heart rate by, I think, 3 beats per minute. You can actually see if you're getting your vitals checked and then you like practice deep breathing, your heart rate will drop. Whereas if you're doing shallow breathing, your heart rate's gonna elevate. And often when we're anxious or stressed, we're not present in our bodies, or if we're just busy in our minds thinking, we're not focusing on our bodies, we're not focusing on our breathing, and we actually end up shallow breathing. Take a break from being up in your head. It's always nice because you can always come back to your breath. A good one that I learned is to breathe in for a count of 7 and then exhale for a count of 11. And I like to do that a few times, and it's so simple and you can do it anywhere. Nobody has to know you're doing it, and it's cool. You're so focused on your breathing, and especially if you do the counting, that it helps ground you back to the present, back into your body, and before you know it, then a few minutes you're like, oh, I like not even thinking about what I was thinking about before. It's just really good. It's bringing in more oxygen into your body, more oxygen into your brain, so that's also going to help you feel more clear-headed. There's tapping, so good, especially if you suffer from panic attacks or anxiety. This was something that I was taught that I found very, very helpful. You can just do like butterfly hug and just go like this, back and forth, or you can do it on your knee. You can, like, once you kind of got the tapping down and you've been doing it for a minute or two, just back and forth. And you can go fast, that's fine. You can go slow, whatever works for you. But then also try and breathe while you're tapping, because it balances the right and the left side of the brain. Because often when we're stressed or when we're anxious, we are actually only thinking with our right side of the brain, which is the emotional side, and we're not really using our left side, which is the logical side. So what the tapping does is it's regulating your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system, helping regulate your left and right sides of your brain so that you're not just thinking with your emotions. Have that logical part of your brain like be like, hey, I'm here too. Public, like if you're shopping cart, you just tap and you breathe and you tap and you just focus on that. And yeah, it helps too if you want to close your eyes. Another one too is you tap your cheekbone, and then you tap your collarbone, and then your cheekbone. I don't know if I'm like 100% doing this right, but and then you do the back of your hand, and then you do the top of your hand, and you hum a little bit, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some of you are probably like, what is she doing? But that one is really good for panic attacks. So if you suffer from panic attacks, do that one. And yeah, the humming is using your right side of your brain. The counting is your left side of the brain. That's why you do that, because I know you're probably wondering why I just did that. But meditation, you guys. People hear meditation, they think you have to be like woo woo and, you know, all spiritual, or you have to be like into yoga or something. I don't know. And you can do a guided meditation. They're on YouTube. Even like you can do 2-minute ones or like 5-minute ones. That's oftentimes I only do like 5 minutes. Or you can just sit and just breathe, and essentially kind of when you're doing breath work and just focusing on your breathing, you're kind of meditating. Just bringing yourself back into your body and your breath and quieting out the outside, quieting your mind. Oh, good morning. Hi, baby Walt. Did you have a good nap? Oh my goodness, he's getting so big. He was like half this size when we got him. Hi, my baby. Do you want to sit in my lap? Oh, that's nice. Oh, I wish he was facing you guys so you could see him, but he wants to look at me. Okay, so I got really off track there from my cat. I'm sorry. Like when I don't meditate, I feel like I'm in my head way more. It's so true. And when I do start my day with meditation, I just feel like it sets my tone for the day. I just have such a better mindset. I feel more clear, and it's again doing something loving towards yourself. Just yeah, go on YouTube or Spotify and type in like 1-minute or 2-minute meditations and try to do them as much as you can. But like using your senses. So I was taught, it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. Using your senses, it just brings you back into the present moment and outside of your head. And remember, no matter how much you practice all of these things too that I've said in my videos, your thoughts are never going to be all loving and all happy and all positive all the time. Like, that's just not realistic. And there are going to be times, me and my mom just talked about this the other day actually, where there are times when you don't really find yourself having to like work on your thoughts too much. They're genuinely, you're like pretty grounded, pretty clear. You don't really feel like you're in your head that much. Your thoughts are, you know, pretty healthy and positive. There's times where you're gonna kind of go back into a little bit of a dark place, and you're gonna be more in your head, and you're gonna have some dark thoughts, and that's okay. The more you practice this stuff, I think the less that happens, and like the farther apart kind of those times are. At least that's kind of how I've felt. They're just your tools in your toolbox, and you get so used to doing them that you know it's always there. It makes you feel safe and safe within yourself, I guess, to know that you have things that you can do for, you know, if your thoughts aren't being the nicest, if they're being negative or dark or whatever. It's just nice to know that you have things that you can do to kind of reset you back into like, okay, I'm back to feeling more like myself now. I'm feeling more loving. I think that I'm gonna wrap this up because my brain's starting to shut off. And if you have any like further questions that you're wondering about, or things that you're struggling with your thinking, maybe you think that I might be helpful, or maybe something I've said has been useful, I would love to know, so please leave me comments. I do have a video on the law of attraction and manifestation that's going to be coming within this week, so stay tuned, or hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Walter! Anyways, manifestation, law of attraction, it's really good. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love. Walter! Oh my gosh, she's gonna knock over my setup.